Love one another as I have loved you, so you must also love one another. John chapter 13. Welcome back to Speaking from the Heart, where we explore the intersections of spirituality, life, work, and business from a gospel-centered perspective. And today's theme may challenge the prevailing cultural mindset. In an age that often glorifies individualism, self-promotion, and competition, we are taking a contrarian position that communities built on love are not only possible, they are essential. Let's start with a truth that often gets lost in our fast-paced world. Love is built on relationships, not superficial ones, but meaningful, lived relationships that allow us to grow, to fall short, and then to begin again. These are the kinds of relationships that create safe spaces for healing and flourishing, spaces where the Spirit breathes freely. And from these core relationships, love extends outward into the broader community. Now, this is not the love of grand declarations or performative generosity. It is the love that quietly shows up day after day, especially for those who are suffering in silence. Now, we cannot serve the most vulnerable unless we are willing to meet them where they are, in their loneliness, their despair, and their brokenness. Now, this is exactly what Jesus did. He didn't build love from a distance. He walked into villages others tended to avoid. He touched lepers. He sat with tax collectors and wept with grieving sisters. He said in Matthew chapter 25, verse 40, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." Now, this is love in action, what we can call the intimacy of love, not just connection, but embodiment. Love acts with authenticity, kindness, patience, and inclusivity. It goes beyond sentiment and enters into service. Love, real love, is not a feeling we keep. It's a force that we want to release. When we strengthen our communities in love, we begin to see our neighborhoods, our places of worships, and our places of work, and our business relationships as sacred places. Why? Because each person reflects the divine within us. What does a spiritual community look like? Well, it's anchored in prayer, nurtured by contemplation, and deepened through learning, and activated through sets of justice and mercy. We don't build communities of love by simply feeling spiritual. We build them by living spirituality, by serving, listening, learning, and loving, even when it's inconvenient. And each community doesn't just serve those within. They extend themselves outward to the margins and to the society of outcasts. A community of love is a sacred place where we struggle and becomes a pathway to healing. And as we wrap up today, let's consider this. Jesus didn't start a church building. He built a community of radical love, where fishermen, widows, beggars, and outcasts found dignity and purpose. That's the kind of community we are called to build today. If love lives only in our hearts, but not in our actions, then it remains incomplete. We are meant to build communities of love, not just attend them or admire them from afar. And this what it means to live a contrarian position. It is profoundly communal. So here's what we can do this week. We can identify someone in our community who feels unseen and reach out. We can reclaim prayer and contemplation as fuel for our engagement, not as retreats from our responsibilities. And we can begin seeing our work and our meetings, our emails, and our businesses as sacred opportunities to express love. You know, everything changes when we act out of love. And that is extended to our various communities. Now, thank you for joining me today in today's episode from Speaking from the Heart. And if this message resonated with you, please subscribe, share it with a friend, and leave a comment. In the next episode, we'll explore, did you notice something important? A conversation about awareness and presence and seeing what's often missed. Until then, go forward in love, and may your communities flourish with grace, compassion, and divine purpose. I'm Richard Fontanie, signing off until we meet again next week, if not before. Bye now.